the government in office now, I don't know how to describe them. If they are truly a government in power, somebody like Tinubu Bello should not be. In fact, he would have been taken down about 2 years ago. I'm telling you. The mere fact that Tinubu Bello is still talking is an insult to every Nigerian. A very big insult. A foreign terrorist from Niger coming here to tell us what to do. Now accusing state actors, naming them as partners in this criminal endeavor. Is that not an embarrassment that Tinubu Bello will open the mouth and be telling us who is involved in the business he's doing? This is not the first time. Remember, he has been saying all this while, and this man is now acting like a law unto himself. He has become an alternate government. So if he's saying that what this special assistant is saying is not true, then who is now sponsoring him? Where is he getting the money that is sustaining him? The guns and ammunition in his custody, how did he get them? How is he sustaining those people he kidnapped? The people he released the other time, they were about 100 people. Is that not true? So how come they were in his custody? This is a question this man cannot even answer. Yet the government is looking at him, listening to him. Listening to him, he's now pointing fingers to governors, elected governors.
So what does this speak to? The complicit nature of some elected officials in fight against insecurity? Because some Nigerians are of the opinion that some people are benefiting from this. So I've gone further to talk about how some governors are enjoying the largesse from the security votes that's been paid to them. And now I have a non-state actor, coming up, a ragtag bandits coming up to tell Nigerians that go after former governors of these states. They are the ones that need to be arrested, not the state for defense minister, who we know that some persons are also talking about how he must have in one way or another supply the vehicles or other form of other form of aid to terrorists at this point. How are we going to fight insecurity, especially in the northwestern region, to end it, so that this embarrassment can actually go off Nigerian soil? If you add it to the investigation by Danjuma Ali Kefas, Fina, you now know that we are in a very deep mess. Seriously. Let's even leave that of Tinubu Bello. The investigation by an army officer who told us how that man was killed. That chief of army staff who took over from Brotai. How he was murdered. How a bomb was planted in his plane and the thing blew away all the people inside it. That report is out there. The man, after that investigation, he had to be detained for 64 days. Now, is that one true a lie? Is it a lie? Because if a plane landed, it would not warrant taking away the legs of people inside that place, their limbs. But this is the bomb that blew away their limbs. And so, who planted that bomb? Fina, who did that thing? To find out is not a rocket science. You can always find out. The person that entered that plane the last time before that chief of army staff entered that plane is enough. He will tell her what he went there to go and do before the plane took off. But nobody will mention, nobody will talk about it. And so, when these things are happening, Fina, know that government hand is in this matter. Barrister, what does this portend? What picture do we have now of Nigeria within the international space? Because we're talking about what's playing out in Zamfara and in Sokoto. We have another, more like an accusation, coming up again from Kwara State, where we're having former member of the Kwara State House of Assembly, Moshood Bakare, urging the federal government to further investigate allegation that the Kwara State government is supplying arms and ammunition to bandit terrorists in some parts of the state. What is really happening? The stories we're getting, revelation or allegation, how are we going to exonerate ourselves from such? The terrorists confess that, yes, the arms they are carrying was given to them by the government of Kwara State. Have you? You said that the car they are using, the motor they are using to patrol, all of them were supplied by what? Kwara State government. You see what we have been saying all along, that government hand is in this matter. Is it not coming to light now? So how will the government now exonerate itself with this romance with terrorists? How do you explain it? Government has in this. That's why somebody in America called us a disgraced nation. They have all this information, Fina. They have it at the tip of their palms. Like they have it. That the government of Nigeria is working with terrorists in Nigeria. The facts are here now before us. So how will anybody deny this now? No, how will the government deny it every time you hear them talking about fighting insecurity? Meanwhile, all is wash. What they are telling you is not what they are doing. They will tell you another thing. Meanwhile, in their mind, in their innermost of their mind, they have a different mindset. Look at what you are seeing, that a government is involved in terrorism. A government. How do you explain all these things, for God's sake? How? You see the real people that are terrorizing, you are in bed, you are in discussion with them, you are romancing with them. Then how can I now believe that you are fighting security? Why you told the Bello still in Nigeria and nobody have touched him? Why? Every time we are getting close to him, Is the man a spirit? All this while you have been having meeting with him and you don't know where he is. Please, somebody should tell me. The truth is coming home now. That the government is involved in this terrorism. The truth is coming home now. From state to federal, they are involved in this matter. All the facts are there in the open. Because if I tell you, Fina, that look, you see this thing that is happening here, I know the person who behind it. You as the government, instead of you to take action, you pretend as if you did not hear me, you did not see me. It shows that you are involved. That's why you don't want to take action. Simple. There's no other explanation. Your action speaks louder than words. You can't even confront these people and say, look, you have done enough or you leave Nigeria. You can't even say that. Why?
What information do you think that Larry Moore will give to the U.S. government? Because he told, he made mention of how he's going to drop the official information from his finding from Nigeria regarding the CPC, country of particular concern, that will have been designated to belong to the Crusade genocide and every other thing that has to do with insecurity. What information do you think is going to push out? With all the celebration that we're getting now, the back and forth, the support of some government officials in terrorism. And do you think also that the federal government will be genuine enough in bringing out the names of terrorism financiers that they told us that they have already?
I have told the US to stop this committee and partnership with Nigerian government. I have told them, if they don't want to be messed up, because the federal government of Nigeria is not ready to fight this terrorism. So if anybody is coming to do it, they wouldn't like it. There are people they are covering. There are people they wouldn't want to mention their name. There are information they will not give American government. Because some people are above the law in Nigeria. In Nigeria, some people are above the law. You hear nothing, see nothing, and say nothing about them. That's the truth. So the federal government will never reveal these people or hand them over to American government. So what is the need of the partnership and the committee and whatever partner? What's the need? If you are sincere, do you need an American government to tell you what to do? If you are sincere, tell me. We really don't have any military now to take care of this thing, except America comes into the matter. I have advised American government they should not allow themselves to be rubbish in this matter, because whenever the federal government of Nigeria don't want to do anything, they set up committee. Fina, were you not here when the Minister of Defense, they were appointed just 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, was blowing hot on TV and everywhere that he will find out, he will investigate and find out the person that ordered those people to leave the school before they were kidnapped. Fina, up to today, have you heard anything again? Up to today, he's still investigating, Abi. So it will take 2 years to find out who did that thing. Sorry. Somebody gave an order by phone call. Somebody called somebody in that school. All of you should get out from that place. So, do you need angels from heaven to tell you who? The people that left that school, somebody should tell the government. I received this phone call from so person. Do you need a panel to know who the person is?
Please, they should stop disturbing us and stop deceiving themselves.
All right, let's move away from terrorism for a few minutes and talk about...
It is the kind of allegation that does not just shake a throne, it shakes the very foundation of the Nigerian Federation, striking at the heart of the most revered traditional institution in the country. The headline you saw is not a whisper from the rumor mill. It is a thunderous open indictment from an international observer, Mike Arnold, who has publicly named the Sultan of Sokoto, His Eminence Alhaji Saad Abubakar III, as a suspected sponsor or direct beneficiary of the terrorism ravaging northern Nigeria. Today, Saturday, December 6, 2025, we are breaking down this explosive dossier that has set the diplomatic and intelligence circles on fire. We are looking at the specific, damning checklist of innocence that Arnold has challenged the Sultan to meet, and we are connecting the dots between the Sultan's mysterious military past in Pakistan and the current Lakurawa invasion that is swallowing his domain. To understand the gravity of this moment, you have to realize that Mike Arnold is not just throwing stones. He is launching a precision missile at the credibility of the spiritual leader of Nigeria's 100 million Muslims. In a statement that has gone viral, Arnold argued that if the Sultan is truly innocent of the bloodshed happening under his watch, if he is not complicit in the slaughter of Christians and innocent villagers, he can prove it easily by taking specific actionable steps. But Arnold's conclusion is chilling. In my humble opinion, his continued refusal to do so points to his guilt. This is a direct accusation of tacit approval of genocide. Let's dissect the Pakistan connection, because this is the part of the accusation that has intelligence analysts sitting up. Arnold challenged the Sultan to produce verifiable records of his work as a brigadier general in Pakistan and Afghanistan. Now, why is this significant? We have verified that before he ascended the throne in 2006, Saad Abubakar served as Nigeria's defense attaché to Pakistan from 2003 to 2006, with accreditation to Afghanistan, Iran, and Saudi Arabia. This was the peak of the global war on terror, a time when that region was the headquarters of Al-Qaeda and the Taliban. Arnold is asking a dark question. What exactly did he do there? Who did he meet? Did he bring back an ideology that is now playing out in the forests of Zamfara and Sokoto? The insinuation is that the radicalization we see in the north today might have roots in those diplomatic years, and the refusal to open those files is fueling the suspicion that the Sultan might still be thinking like a general with a hidden agenda. Then there is the issue of fatwas. Arnold needs a simple demand. Issue fatwas against it. Declare killing of infidels to be haram. For years, critics have asked why the Sultanate has been relatively quiet or generic in its condemnation of religious violence. When Deborah Samuel was killed in Sokoto of blasphemy, the silence from the palace was deafening to many. Arnold is arguing that as the supreme head of the Islamic faith in Nigeria, the Sultan has the power to stop the religious justification for these killings with a single decree. By refusing to issue a specific fatwa declaring the killing of Christians as haram, Arnold argues he is giving the killers a theological pass. He is accusing the Sultan of repudiating radical imams only in private, while allowing them to radicalize youths in public. We also have to look at the mineral resources angle. Arnold challenged the Sultan to mobilize against the vast looting of minerals from his domain. This connects directly to the Lakurawa terror group we have been tracking. Security reports confirm that these terrorists are not just killing for sport. They are securing illegal gold mining sites in Zamfara and Sokoto. The northern governors recently called for a ban on mining, but Arnold's point is sharper. How can vast looting happen in the Sultan's backyard without his knowledge? In the traditional structure of the north, the emir knows every stranger who enters his domain. If foreigners from Mali and Niger are extracting gold and buying weapons, is it possible they are doing so without paying homage to the traditional powers? The accusation here is one of direct beneficiary, that the blood money from the mines might be flowing upwards. This allegation comes at a time when the Sultan has been presenting himself as a peacemaker, advocating for the release of Nnamdi Kanu and praising activists like Somore. But Arnold's statement suggests this peace-building image is a mask. He accuses the Sultan of showing not even a hint of moral outrage for the atrocities committed against the innocent. He paints a picture of a leader who is comfortable dining with presidents in Abuja while his own people are slaughtered by Lakurawa and bandits in the villages. The recent invasion of villages in Tangaza and Gudu, where terrorists imposed their own government and collected taxes, happened just kilometers from the Sultan's palace. How does a former brigadier general allow a foreign army to occupy his land unless he is complicit or compromised? The Lakurawa factor is particularly damning. Reports indicate that this group was initially invited by local leaders in 2017 to fight bandits. If the Sultan's district heads invited these foreign fighters who have now turned into monsters, does the ultimate responsibility not lie with the Sultan? Arnold's checklist demands that he work with authorities to identify, locate, and bring the terrorists to book. The implication is that the Sultan knows who they are, knows where they are, but is refusing to give them up. It suggests a protection racket where the traditional institution shields the terrorists from the military onslaught. This expose forces us to rethink the entire security architecture of Nigeria. If the accusations are true, even partially, it means the war against terror is unwinnable because the enemy is inside the command center. It means that every time the military plans an attack, the information might be leaking from the very palaces they are trying to protect. It explains why the banditry has lasted for over a decade, despite billions of dollars spent on security. Arnold is essentially saying, you are not fighting ghosts, you are fighting the Sultan's foot soldiers. The silence of the Sultanate in the face of such a specific itemized accusation will only fuel the fire. Mike Arnold has drawn a line in the sand. He says these are easy and a no-brainer for any blameless person. By listing actions that are within the Sultan's power, issuing a fatwa, releasing military records, exposing sponsors, he has cornered the monarch. If the Sultan ignores this, it looks like arrogance or guilt. If you respond, he validates the accuser. So, as we watch the Northwest burn, we must ask, is the Sultan a victim of a chaotic system, or is he the architect of the chaos? Is he a helpless traditional ruler, or is he the powerful general pulling the strings of a holy war? Mike Arnold says the evidence points to guilt. And until the Sultan issues that fatwa, exposes those sponsors, and opens his Pakistan files, that dark cloud of suspicion will remain over the throne of Sokoto. What do you think? Is Mike Arnold's accusation a brave truth or a reckless conspiracy theory? And should the Sultan be compelled to release his military records from Pakistan? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. We will keep digging until the truth is unearthed.
Diplomatic and what seems to be diplomatic and military tensions between Nigeria and some other West African states that have been involved in coups recently, particularly at this moment, Burkina Faso. The federal government of Nigeria says they are yet to release the 11 soldiers who were in the aircraft that had to make an emergency landing in the country. Now, while we're talking about that as well, there was an ECOWAS meeting where Nigeria is calling for stronger regional unity, where Nigeria is also calling for stronger diplomatic, where we all come together and work as ECOWAS, as the West African Union, right, so that we can actually achieve more. But these countries that have been involved in coups, they said they no longer want to be part of ECOWAS, and they formed the Association of Sahel States. Where does Nigeria stand right now, especially when such countries feel like Nigeria is biting more than it can chew, or Nigeria is liaising with countries that they are trying to push out, particularly France, whereby Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger are trying to push out France, Nigeria is dallying with France. Would you say they see this as a betrayal?
Of course. In fact, that was the major reason why the Sahel state left. That's why their colonial masters were oppressing and suppressing them. Nigeria, that was heading ECOWAS at that time, was in bed with France. That was why these people left. You are supposed to protect your people. This is the ECOWAS states. And they are complaining of what their colonial masters is doing to them. Instead of you to align with your people here in ECOWAS, you were, romancing with France, going there and they are dictating to you what to do to your own people. That was why they left. And I cannot blame them, seriously, I cannot. If other countries, have the opportunity, they too should leave. Because ECOWAS is no longer serving the purpose for which it was created. Where is the protection? ECOWAS has become a toothless bulldog. They can't even sanction Nigeria for what they say, except to make a statement that Nigeria is the worst culprit in disobeying ECOWAS court and all that. After that, what happened? After saying that, what happened? Nothing. You just told Nigeria that you disobey ECOWAS court decisions. What are you supposed to do as a follow-up? Nothing. So ECOWAS is a spent force. It no longer have the power to discipline members, even to talk to some of their leaders who have been messing around with their country and all that. They can't do that.
When you say they don't have what it takes to, you recall that they've also warned the former governor or the former president of Gambia, Yahya Jammeh, that he must come back to answer questions regarding the way he acted from the time he was the president of Gambia from 2016 from 1994 to 2016. We have issues of violation, human rights violation during the time he was there. And I don't think that's more like a good call, even while he was in exile. They are ready to sanction.
Don't mind them. They are choosing the scapegoat here because the Jammeh and Gambia is a very small country. They don't have a voice. People have done worse things than Jammeh, and yet nothing happened. Fina, people have done worse things 10 times over than Jammeh in Gambia, yet nobody called them out, nobody sanctioned them, nobody said anything. Can you see what we are talking about here?
When you say people have done worse things, can you help us walk through?
Nigeria, ECOWAS just told you here that Nigeria is the worst culprit in disobeying ECOWAS court decision. They don't implement, they don't obey it. Is that not true? So what followed after? Why don't you call Tinubu to come and explain why you cannot obey ECOWAS court? Call him out the same way you are calling Jammeh. Yes, call him out. Let us start from there.
On the issue of military coups, can ECOWAS actually stop other West African nations from this happening? We saw how Nigerian forces and ECOWAS forces actually trooped into Benin Republic, and they are still there even up till now. Can they stop this wave of coups? And is there ever a way we can come to agreement with this confederation of Sahel states who have chosen to stay on their own?
If anybody is in doubt, let them watch out. Some of these people are going to leave the ECOWAS bloc. They can't stop coups in West Africa. It's not possible. As long as this rascality in democracy continues, people are going to excuse themselves from it, whether you like it or not. The world has moved on. This is 21st century, for God's sake. You don't expect anybody to wait for you. No, it's not possible. What causes this disagreement? What causes this coup? Have you addressed it? The answer is no. So if you have not addressed it, then what makes you think that the problem will not continue? Look, it's not about democracy. The question is, what has democracy brought to West Africa and Africa? If you are behaving worse than the military men you are accusing of undermining democracy, then what is the need? What is the essence? What's the difference between some of civilian administration in Africa and the military? What's the difference? Some civilian administration is 10 times worse than the military. 10 times worse than the military. They just go to that AU building in Addis Ababa and then protect their own interests. Because you feel that the military. But some of them are genuinely patriotic. Genuinely patriotic. Unlike you people who claim to be civilian democrats. Mention any of them that have not stolen money from their country and take it to the Western world. Just mention one person among them. Is that part of democracy? You steal your country blind. You impoverish your people. You dehumanize your people. You disobey court order, rule of law. And now you are claiming you sit tight. No, tell me, you sit tight like Pobi and Cameroon, like Museveni, like so many of them in Africa. You are not talking. You have not asked them why. It is the military you come and tell that they are not. You are the one that called for it. So don't blame anybody. You are the one.
Levied against the nnamdi chief and their leadership by Aliko Dangote, that they are finding a way to undermine the production of local refineries by giving out licenses to importers of PMS in the country. Recall that before now, I think the presidency made a statement about how we're going to have a 15%, tariff imposed on people who are still importing PMS, where we have a capacity and a yielding refinery in Nigeria that would belonging to a private person or private individual, but still is producing something that we can even export and is serving the country. What do you have to say about this allegation and the call for investigation, saying that the boss is living above his means?
Look, the story of the oil industry is a story of fraud and deceit. Is it not someone that gave people license to import fuel? When Dangote have told us that, look, he is ready to supply even Africa, not to talk of Nigeria. So why are you giving people license to import fuel? They are not doing it on their own. So whatever story the government is telling me here, I will never believe them because they are not sincere. Remember, when this guy brings this fuel, we are still going to pay them subsidy. Meanwhile, they told us that subsidy is gone. So what is the government doing with this oil industry? If you import fuel, you import at your own peril. When you come in, you compete with Dangote. Since you want to run a free market. So why is it that government is still giving subsidy to some people? Are they giving Dangote subsidy? The answer is no. So why must they be giving subsidy to NNPC and their whatever? In fact, it's so sad. See, this is how they kill businesses. You say people should come in and invest. A man invested and you will not allow him to run his business. You are trying to undermine it. You are trying to, because you are using your federal might to support some people against the business of other people. This oil industry, when will the story end?
That's the next question I wanted to ask you.
After the moving subsidy.
Now, but do you think that this call, coming from the Aliko Dangote and his team for Farouk Ahmed to be investigated, he tagged it economic sabotage, do you think he's going to see the order of the day? Do you think he's going to see the light of the day?
It's
the government to look into it.
Yeah, it's left for him to put pressure because there is something going on here that nobody is telling us.
Why are we having this back and forth with Dangote refinery? And first it was the Ipman, and later it moved or metamorphosed into Nupeng, even talking about boycotting supply of crude oil and every other thing. And now we're getting, another one coming from people still receive licenses for fuel importation. You want to have a refinery working here in Nigeria.
I want Dangote to sue the federal government under the PIA. It is stated clearly that, look, in the dancing sector, you don't need to bring in anything that Nigerian entrepreneurs have the capacity.
Wouldn't that be indicting if he's to go that route, given the fact that we were told, Barrister, that according to the PIA, someone who is playing majorly, in the refining shouldn't be seen running around the retailing arm or the retailing part of it too. I think the PIA also is so clear on that position.
Have he not told you to come and lift up his product, but you refuse? You refuse. You decided to import. The man said, look, he doesn't want Nigerians to be shortchanged. He pegged the price at, I think, 800. Then you, who came to pick it up, is now adding more money against the dictates of the industry. Is that not why Dangote said, look, I'm going to supply to Nigerians directly? Because the people who are supposed to do that, they are now playing hanky-panky with him.
So what does this portend with the mantra of this administration calling or telling Nigerians that local production or refining is one of the things that they will look into? And, we have the likes of BUA coming up too. Are we going to see BUA refinery also faces such challenge that Aliko Dangote refinery is facing?
Let him come up for maybe when he team up with Dangote, the government will not listen.
But with the back and forth, the story surrounding this, recall when we heard about NNPC seeking to have an office with within the refinery and all of that, the allegations of having sold for fuel, the diesel supply and all that. Are we going to see all this clear without, more like making other people who have interest in oil and gas sector now change their mind or push the business to another country? I
am expecting Dangote. In fact, I'm advising Dangote to take the federal government to court over this thing.
because the federal government is behind it. Who gives the import license to this what's it called, importers of fuel? Is it not the federal government? So why would you be doing that? Dangote should take them to court. That would have been possible if Dangote cannot meet up the supply. It's okay, the shortfall, yes, people should bring it in. But Dangote have promised to supply the whole of Africa. So Nigeria is just a piece of cake for him. They just want to sabotage this man.
Sabotage his
Yeah, they are sabotaging him. That's why if you check, at every point in time, he will lower prices.
All right, Barrister, let's move away slightly from that story to issue of banditry terrorism, where Terrör Bello denies having any sponsorship from Bello Matawalle, but further accuses Bafarawa and Yerima, the former governors of Zamfara and Sokoto, of fueling the issue of fueling insecurity now in the northern region of Nigeria. There was a video we played during the morning buzz on Saturday, where one man, I think Kamarawa it was his name, he was appointed to be a mediator, more like a peace mediator between the bandits and the government, and he was appointed during the time of Bello Matawalle. He was so vocal. He talked about how much was given to him, even to the point of renovation of buildings, supplying of basic amenities, payments from 14 local governments to this terrorist. And he has a document, information. The help also came from Abuja for the terrorists to still be running around. And he made mention of Terrör Bello, Lelo, and other people who have been holding the northern region, especially the Zamfara axis, down by the jugular. And now we're seeing Terrör Bello, a non-state actor, coming up to say that Matawalle should not be blamed, but the former governor of Sokoto and Zamfara should be blamed. What do you have to say about this?
The man is lying. In fact, the only reason why this man is talking is because this government in place now.
Guys, let me take you through some of the headlines on the social media and the reactions. This person here tweeted and said, yesterday night, armed bandits attacked Nahus community in Bungudu local government Zamfara state, abducting an unknown number of people. The incident has heightened fear and renewed call for urgent government action to protect royal communities in the state. How long will residents continue to live under the threat of banditry and insecurity in Zamfara state? Guys, this thing is no longer funny. I mean, it's no longer funny. Now, this headline coming from Sahara Reporter says, bandits victim family write Tinubu seek probe of allegations linking ex-governors to Northwest crisis. Now, a section of that letter says, Your Excellency, sir, demand for immediate and discreet investigation and arrest of former governors Ahmed Yerima and Atahiru Bafarawa for complicity in acts of banditry, terrorism, and crimes against humanity. So these people, it reads further, we, the coalition of families of those affected by banditry, are collectively compelled to write to Your Excellency to draw your attention, to draw your kind attention to the damning allegation made by notorious bandit leader Bello Tuji against former governor Yerima and Atahiru Bafarawa, accusing them of sponsoring terrorism, escalating banditry. So the question remains, so it's until the bandit leader came and told you who is sponsoring that you people now got to know. The North is always silent, on all this terrorism of a thing, and that is why they will allow it to crawl until it gets worse, until it gets worse. Tell me even why people should be listening to Bello Tuju, who is supposed to be in jail by this time. Anyway, let's see how some people are reacting to this. There is strong allegation against Bello Matawalle for aiding and sponsoring terrorism in Zamfara state, yet he is not invited to clear his name before Nigerian citizens. For God's sake, which kind of leaders do we have in Nigeria? And this other person here say, from all indication, there is a whole lot going on in this country. May God save ordinary people from artificial dumb. orchestrated by some powerful and influential individuals. Let's see if Tinubu will protect his friends at the detriment of the masses. Tinubu is already protecting them. If not, why is he not acting? Is it until they finish killing the people? The Tinubu's government is so docile when it comes to, you see in the US, people who are planning attack on New Year Day, they were, you know, they were busted and were taken in. But in Nigeria, nobody cares. That's the problem. This person said they are reintegrated Boko Haram terrorists in the army, the Nigerian army. This person said military should put something as a sign to know the real army. This is coming after some terrorists, you know, killed a soldier at checkpoint in Edo State. So guys, even you joining the military now, your life is at risk in this country. I mean, somebody has said some years ago, people stayed away from this kind of discourse because of the intimidation and attacks. I'm so glad people from all corners of the earth are calling out the wrongdoing with this religion and its followers. Yes, I think the outrage now, people are no longer radical Muslims versus moderate Muslim. A radical Muslim wants to behead you. A moderate Muslim wants a radical Muslim to be. Oh my God. A radical Muslim wants to behead you, but a moderate Muslim will tell a radical Muslim to do it. Can you imagine that? Oh my God. What are we not seeing in this country? It's unbelievable, honestly. And this one here says, she's 100% right. I remember 1999. Now God saved me and my family, and they usually fix these killings for Friday prayers. Once they finish their prayers, they just go around killing innocent people. But your sister is here. Your sister here is saying something different here. That means you are lying. She was born in Kanu. She say Lodge is not going out of Kanu. Kanu forever. Lodge. I don't understand what that means. Yeah. So I was listening to a Cross River woman who is married to an Igbo man, and both of them are living in Kano State. This was the only fools argue otherwise. So this person is actually trying to say the lady who said if you're in the north, they will just buy you for no reason, you know. They will just buy you for no reason, and because of religion. So I just hope that the Muslims, for me, I think they have to review the Quran again. To really see, even Saudi Arabia is coming to terms, allowing musicians, trying to sell alcohol, all kinds of things that Islam forbids. Saudi Arabia is now opening up to it. One day they will tell you that what they see in the Quran is not what they believe anymore. So I think it is really high time the imams or the leaders in the Quran, you know, in the Muslim world, they really take their time to review this Quran to see why should the Quran be saying somebody should be buried if you don't accept to be a Muslim and all that. Anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell notification. Thank you.